All right. Hey there, guys. Happy Sunday. Happy end of the weekend. I know Monday's coming tomorrow, but hopefully you guys had a good, relaxing weekend. I know my kids were away at the in-laws, and it felt great just to have a
Nice.
few days on my own. So new format, new stream on a Sunday night. We figure we give this a shot. A lot of us consume a lot of content on YouTube in regards to this watch collecting obsession that we have, and maybe it's just not watch collecting, maybe it's other things as well. But I know I watch a lot of content in regards to watches, and so I like the idea of there was a show on the E network whenever we had cable. I mean I don't know, do people still watch cable? But but there was a show called Talk Soup, and they would just gather the clips of all the shows during the week and talk about them, make fun of them, whatever this and that. We're not going to make fun of, or maybe we will, but we're not really going to here to make fun of anybody. But we have selected a video from a content creator, a major content creator in the watch collecting space, enthusiast space, and we figure we bring it up and involve you guys in the chat, because I know a lot of you guys have watched a lot of content too, and to see if we can spark some conversations, and so because we lack imagination, we decided to call it Watch Soup. Anyway, so Josh, how are you, my friend?
Good.
Uh,
Good. Thanks
nice
for
to
having
finally, yeah, nice to finally meet you in person. Like we were just talking before, we feel like
me.
we kind of know each other
Yeah. Yep.
because we interact in other forums in the watch community.
Right.
How you doing, man? How was your weekend?
Good. Yeah, doing good. Getting ready for some more snow around here.
Yes.
Seems like once or twice a week lately.
Oh
Uh,
man.
so, but I'm from Vermont, so I'm used to the snow. And I think Sanjay, what are you in Canada? So you're used to snow too, right?
Toronto, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Last year, Josh, we had the same pretty much weather, right?
Yeah.
It barely snowed,
Right.
like maybe like once or twice, and it was actually a warm winter,
Yep.
from what I recall.
Yeah.
And now the total opposite, right? Which is fine, and I love when it snows. It's pretty.
Yeah.
After a few days, I like it to go away, right?
Right.
But it's been
It
sitting
hasn't gone
out
away.
there. It
Yeah.
hasn't gone away. Anyway, Josh, why don't you share with us what you're wearing on wrist this evening?
Yeah, sure. I have a unique watch. It's an Orient TriStar,
Ooh.
but it has Eastern Arabic numerals
Ah.
because I lived in the Middle East. So
Oh.
if you saw my video on this, you could hear more about it. But we lived over in Beirut, Lebanon, and I speak Arabic. So
Wow.
I love it. Has the Arabic day as well. You can't really see it, but just a fun cheap piece that I got off of eBay, shipped from Saudi Arabia, but I really like it. And I got it on an oyster bracelet from Strapsco that kind of takes it up a notch from the original bracelet.
Awesome. So you're from Vermont. You lived in Beirut. You live in Philly now, man. There's
Yeah.
a lot about you, man, that I
That's
just
right.
found out in the last few minutes, man. We're gonna have to talk about this offline one day, man. I'm fascinated, man. I want to hear more about it. Anyway, guys, please chime in. Let us know what you're wearing, and that segs me over to Sanjay at Engineer Wannabe. How you doing, man? How was your weekend, Sanjay?
Very good, very good. Didn't do a whole lot. Kind of relaxed, rested, spent time with the kids, which was nice. Did a live stream last night, and
Oh yeah, I was there. I saw it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Other than that, it was just a slow day. Went to church today. Came back. Did some coloring. The usual. Yeah, it was good.
Gotcha. And what do you have on wrist today?
I have the Seiko SPB 185, the steel.
I like that. That looks great.
Yeah. And
Excellent,
it's funny that
man.
you said that the weather was opposite this year, because last year I feel like was really warm.
Mm.
Sorry, really cold in Canada.
Mhm.
It started snowing in November last year. Last year being the 2019-2020 winter. Started snowing in November, and it was a miserably long winter. And this year it didn't snow until February, like end of January. So yeah, it was complete opposite.
Yeah, kind of funny how that works, right?
Yeah.
And you got to be careful what you wish for sure. Uh, I got my Zin 857 UTC. Man, this watch is so hard for me to keep off rest. It's so rugged, man. You know what I mean? I just love it. I got a new piece that came in the other day, which is a little bit more delicate. But we'll talk about that another time. Let's run down the chat and say hello to some people here. Hey Daniel, how are you? Underachieving watch collector. Yeah, thumbnail. Yeah, I whipped up the thumbnail a little too quickly. Mrs. Legs was it's just soup. Why didn't you put like maybe watches in the soup? Because you're talking like, she has a point there. Hey Bruce, how are you? Peter C, some of my favorite YouTubers. Yeah, we get them gathered for you, man. Whatever you guys want, we'll do it. Alex, how are you? Bruce, what's up, man? Steve P, okay. What's up, buddy? Wilson, thank you for joining us. Chaz from the Berg. Chaz, how you doing, man? Riss Ross, what's up, man? G State Dubs. All right. All right. Pepe D's nuts. What's up, man? I love some of the names. Pete, how you doing? Thank you for joining us on your lunch break. Jared, what's up? Amin, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Jeff, Roar of the Tiger. Hey gang. Hey Sanjay. Hey John. Hey. Okay. Yeah. I'm bad with the songs, so I apologize for that. Tennessee Mike, what's up, man? And some others in the chat. Nick J, Junior Johnson, how are you?
A lot of people here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. For Sunday night. I mean, I didn't know how this was gonna work or if this was gonna happen, and hopefully you guys stick around. For the rest of it. We're just gonna, this is our first time doing this, like I said, so we're gonna play it by ear a little bit. So, like I mentioned, we're gonna take a couple of videos and we're gonna talk about it, and this may grow organically, differently through the course of figuring it out in future streams. But Josh has selected this week a channel that I didn't actually know too much about, I watched the episode and can you guys see my screen here? Yeah. So Josh, you picked the Timepiece Gentleman. So tell us how'd you find this one and tell us what you enjoyed about this video.
Yeah, he's fairly new on YouTube as far as I can tell. His channel is probably like 5-6 months old. I think I first found him on Instagram. He posts watches. He's a dealer of high-end pieces mainly. And so he had an Instagram account, and that's where I think I first saw him posting, watches for sale and just really nice Rolex pieces and stuff like that. And so I followed him, and then somehow I found out, I don't know if YouTube suggested it to me or what, just randomly I found that he had a YouTube channel, and just a really interesting guy down in Texas, Dallas area, I believe. And he has this, business selling watches. As a dealer, he's not an AD, but, just anything and everything. High-end pieces, and just an interesting story is really what intrigued me initially. The most recent episode is kind of one of his slower ones, but he does these day in the life things where he just goes in and out of the office. Maybe you see him at the gym for a little bit working out, but mostly it's the in and outs of him and his colleagues trying to build their business and grow their business. And it's just really interesting to see him interact with people, how he sells watches, how he obtains watches. And it's kind of almost a reality type TV show of a watch dealer. And as far as I can tell, I haven't seen anything like it on YouTube. And so that's why I'm kind of intrigued by it. It's kind of neat to see the behind the scenes. And I encourage you, if you check him out, start with one of his very first videos where he goes into his background. I think he's been in prison and he's gotten out, and, you know, cleaned up his life and started this business, and, you know, is making a great life for himself. And so it's kind of a unique story. And I don't know, it's I'm intrigued by it. He's like on the go all the time. I don't envy the work that he does. Like, it's like nonstop. He's on the phone, talking with people, and he's really, really super busy, but has people working with him and for him. And it's just neat to see some of the goals that he's setting for his company. And he's very goal oriented. So I take some challenge from that for my own life, but just really interesting guy. Yeah. Interesting channel.
Yeah, Kevin. I thought about Roman Sharf too. You know, especially when he goes to conventions or whatever, these trade shows or dealer shows, and he sells watches, and you see a lot of the background going on. But Roman does a lot of like kind of like Q&A kind of stuff. And I found this very interesting too. Like I was mentioning to you before we came on, that at first, and I didn't start from the beginning. I just started at this video. And at first, you know, you see them kind of like walking through the halls of this office space looking for some office space, and I was like, oh, okay, this is, you know, not that interesting so far. But then they cut it away, and then you see him on the phone talking about, like, you know, making deals, and I found that interesting. And yeah, I mean, like I this is kind of more reality based, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't sure, and I don't know if there's a stomach for this is just my opinion, not that I'm an expert, but if there's a stomach for this kind of reality in the watch space. But then the more and more I watched it, I kind of like was getting into it. Now I would say this episode, and correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but this episode was on the long side compared to the other episodes.
They seem to be all about an hour.
Yeah, well, see,
Yeah.
so for me, that, you know, my attention span's a little bit shorter, right? So I'm used
Yeah.
to like 10, 15, 20-minute videos at the most,
Yeah.
you know? So I had to put this down for about a half an hour,
Right.
after a half hour in, and then, you know, watch it. And yeah, you know, he does seem to have a lot of goals, and yeah, Rick, I mean, in this episode, you see that he's kind of angling or thinking about throwing the idea
Yes.
of getting some investment to start a production crew, and then, you know, pitching it, you know,
They've got some real
Netflix.
lofty goals, but I mean, like I said,
Hey, why
he's
not?
very, very goal oriented, and I like that about him. It's really challenging to see someone like that to go after kind of what they want in life, and, you know, I can take some lessons from that, you know, in my own life. And so really, I really like the channel so far. Yeah.
Yeah, Sanjay, what say you? Did you get a chance to take a look at this
Yeah.
this episode?
Yeah, I did actually. And this hit me right out of the blue. I did not know this existed.
Yeah.
I was familiar with Roman Sharf, and I
Mhm.
have been watching Roman Sharf for a while. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I kind of watch YouTube videos at like 1.25 speed, so it didn't feel that long for me.
That's a good way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a little cringy, you know, when they were negotiating that, you know, the $10,000, and I was just like, oh, you know, I don't want to hear that. But
Yeah.
it was interesting. It was interesting how you know, seeing another perspective of a negotiation, trying to get a bit more money for a watch, and you know, seeing that other people do that too. It's kind of cool. I really, it was kind of also a little I don't know if you're familiar with the term meta, like because they were discussing in the video how to get into Netflix. Like they
Mhm.
had the goals, and they had like the board, and that kind of broke the fourth wall for me too, because it was like, okay, so they're doing a show that is very comparable, really high production quality, you know, very comparable to a Netflix series, and they're trying to get into Netflix, and they're planning on how to do it. And I thought, wow, that's kind of strange, you know, kind of fourth wall breaking. And I really enjoyed all of that. And I have the rest of the episodes now in my watch later, so
Yeah.
the list just keeps on growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
had a lot of fun watching it.
yeah, it's interesting. Like, you know, again, I don't know if there's a stomach for or a demand for watching reality based on for like a watch dealer. But then again, and he and the guy brought it up at the end of the episode there when he was whiteboarding the nestlings. He was talking about the Pawn Stars. Like, who
Yeah.
would have thought Pawn Stars and would be like an interesting show? I mean, maybe because you're I think they were based in Vegas, so you're dealing with like maybe some interesting characters, but there's probably a lot of interesting. I know there's a lot of interesting characters in the watch space. You know what I mean? So maybe there is kind of like an appeal, for a streaming service like Netflix, to bring something on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this. I know the cameras were on him, right? We know that, right? He seems to be like a straight shooter though, right? When he's talking to people on the phone, like,
Mhm.
and maybe we don't see everything, but maybe he is like this with everybody that he's on the phone. Like he's like, okay, yeah, if you don't like it, just I figured you're gonna go talk to other sellers anyway or buyers anyway, so just talk to them and then come back to me. You know what I mean? So very matter of factly, just very professional. I don't know, Josh. You've seen more episodes. Is that his temperament? Is he mostly like that all the time?
Yeah, it seems like it. I think I've watched all of the Day in the Life episodes that he's had, so he does seem like a straight shooter, like you said. And I'm just amazed the low profit margins for flipping these watches. You got to flip a lot of watches to really
Yeah.
make profit. I mean, people know when you can't sell a watch so high, people aren't going to buy it. That you can't make boatloads of money on one watch for the most part. And so it's interesting to see that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a lot of work. Like I said, I don't envy, man, how busy this guy seems to be doing what he's doing, but he seems to enjoy it. And they have this goal that they're working toward for this year of a certain amount in sales. I forget the number. I don't know. It's in the millions though. I forget.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 50 million by the end of the year. They want to sell in watches sales. So I don't know. That's a lot.
Yeah. Chaz's comments. It's hard for me to view watches as commodities. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is, especially when most of them lose value. You
Right.
know what I mean? And Pete agrees. That's why he started the episode and bailed. Yeah, I mean it's not for everybody, right?
No.
Especially this kind of format, but it's very, very interesting. Jared Pawn Stars was going to be the comparison I think of. Yeah. Rick saying, although production quality is great and their business is a mess, they don't have a handle on the basics of business yet. Yeah. I mean,
You can see
quite
that a
possible.
little bit. Yeah.
Let's see anybody. Wilson said it looks like their goal was 35 million. That's right. I think
right.
that's what he meant. Don't think Kevin S says, don't think I would have much interest in this, like shows about real estate brokers. Yeah, I mean it's a little bit it's like that. Yeah, I mean it's behind the scenes of some sort of like business of sales. That and real estate is sales. I don't know if they're d bags or not, but I mean like they seem to be straight shooters. But it's not for everybody, but it's for a lot of people though.
I'm surprised. Right? I mean, the views that he's getting close to 100,000 per episode. And he only, he's growing, but he's, a little over 30,000 subscribers. To get that amount of views with that amount of subscribers. I mean, he's hitting a nerve,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Sales is not profit, of course. Yeah. We don't know what their overhead is, whatnot. We don't know. So that maybe they have a sales number in mind because they know what their margins are and what their overhead is, and to get a sweet spot of profit that they're looking for. So
yeah,
who knows? I mean, I'm not a business guy, but I think that's kind of like the goal. Chaz is saying I think their goal was 250 million as in their sales goal.
I don't know.
So I mean, look, they got him. To your point, Josh, when you said that you're surprised about like, how much or how little they make on some of the watches. I mean, they have to just move a ton of watches.
Yeah.
I think now like it puts a lot of perspective in like guys like Federico at Del Rey, because I watch his stuff when it comes up, and then I also go to his website a lot, and so like I see a lot of like turnover in watches, and makes me think, wow, I mean, like these guys really need to turn things over, you know.
Yep.
Nerio's what's funny guy, Nerio. You know what that is. Okay. If Rolex hype bubble bursts, I think a lot of these dealers will show. Yeah, right. I mean, like that's where I think they make most of their money, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't stay in inventory that long, right? Most of these Rolexes, so they're not holding it on. They're constantly flipping them and making money that way. If that market would dry up, we're talking about a whole different, like a death of a type of business here, possibly.
Right.
But yeah, any other thoughts, guys?
Well, Wilson made a comment. Wilson
Let me
said
find it.
that everything he's doing is marketing. He's doing very well with it through social media. I kind of noticed quite a few of the people in that episode itself said, "Hey, I've been watching your YouTube videos,
Yeah, that's true.
and yeah, you seem like a straight shooter and a good guy." And so that's definitely probably quite a good angle to grow his business as well. Like, I mean, 100,000 views per video is huge. It's a lot of exposure, right?
Yeah.
And
Even if this like Netflix thing doesn't happen,
right.
the exposure, like you said, from just the YouTube alone, will help drive business. And I think that's why some of these guys do it, right? I mean, it's got to be why Federico and John P do it for Delray, right? I mean, they're not making. I mean, they're probably making a little bit of coin on YouTube, but it's not enough to necessarily live on.
Yeah.
So they drive business to their site directly or indirectly, right? Same with like Roman, same with like all the other guys. That's just another avenue to drive business.
Yep.
Let's see. Chris talks to Roman, so he knows him. Fed is more diversified. Anthony mostly flips Rolex. I mean, so far as I've seen, yeah, that's true. And I've been on this site because I went on their site, after I saw the video, and it's mostly. But I mean, I guess, that's where you're going to put your eggs in right now if you want to be in this kind of business. This circle between businesses relying on Rolex hype and then becoming media to drive the hype in our consumption of their sell curious. Yeah. And Roman Sharf did it the old fashioned way. LOL. All right. Well, so that went pretty good, that little segment there. Thanks, Josh, for bringing that up. I have hit subscribe on this one, and I think I'll keep it up, and I'll do what Sanjay does, and I'll watch it at 1.25, 1.5.
That's a good idea.
Speed. Okay, so next we'll take a look at Sanjay's pick this week, and that was it's not this guy. Although this guy's been appearing in a lot of ads at the beginning of videos lately. So it was Teddy Baldassare went to some dealer in Nebraska, I believe it was, right?
Uh-huh.
And maybe they invited him, or I don't know how he selected that, but he had a challenge where he had to pick a collection within $25,000. So Sanjay, you want to take the lead on this and tell us about the video?
Yeah. So, yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. But so yeah, it was a pretty interesting video, pretty out of the blue. I didn't kind of expect it to come out when it did, but and everyone knows Teddy, so it's probably everyone here has seen this video. But it was I found it really interesting. I found it curious as well. I think the dealership was called Borsheim's. He actually put out a second video yesterday, interviewing a watchmaker, Borsheim's watchmaker. And that was a good video as well. But in this particular one, he has to build a collection within 30 minutes and spending 25,000 US dollars, not including tax or anything like that. No discounts, no sales or anything like that. All retail price, and
No tax.
yeah, turned out to be turned out to be pretty good, pretty interesting. I would think, if you're buying that many watches in one go, you get a hefty discount. but
Right.
uh,
And,
but
you
yeah,
know,
it was an interesting video.
yeah, they didn't have like all the brands, right? But they had
Right.
a good amount of brands there. Josh, did you was there any specific selection that Teddy made that you're like, well, wait a second, let's pump the brakes there, or did you like all his specs?
I liked two. I probably would have picked the Reverso like he did, and also the Cartier Santos. I love those as well. So I think I would have gone for those two because I really like those. I would not have gone for the Longines diver. For some reason, the aesthetics of that diver doesn't appeal to me. It looks kind of odd, looks kind of weird, in my opinion. Especially, I guess it's mainly the crown guards that are there, and the crown. It's that together on that watch kind of just turns me off a little bit. I don't know why, but I would not have picked that watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sanjay, any controversial picks there for Teddy, in your opinion?
yeah. That Breitling was not not a nice pick in my opinion.
Oh,
There's a different Breitling that I would have gone with, the one with the 3612 or 6912. It's a Super Ocean Heritage, not the Heritage 2. And I think that would have been a much better purchase. It's a more traditional looking piece. I think that Breitling in general is a little not for me,
Yeah.
as you would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised he picked that one. But the Longines was a surprise for me too. I think the Hamilton Navy Scuba probably would have been a better or a nicer pick in my opinion. I really like the Reverso, but I probably wouldn't have paired it with a Santos. I probably would have got the Reverso and something else. Maybe save that money and put it towards an El Primero or maybe a different Omega Speedmaster, maybe the Professional Sapphire Sandwich or something like that. But that's
As a caveat, guys, he wanted brand diversity too, so he didn't want to pick two of the same brand. So that's why it was a little bit of a tightrope. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Sanjay. I just wanted to get that point across.
Yeah. That was the interesting part. The fact that we all have these different picks is what kind of makes this a fun video where we can kind of inject ourselves into these shoes and try to perfect it. But
yeah, so I'm with you. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know if I would have gone Reverso and Santos, right?
Yeah, I
So
see what you guys are saying with that. Yeah.
So he went Reverso with his dress watch, which I thought was me. I would have made the same pick, but with the Santos as his everyday, I would have. Now he went with Cartier because he wanted the Omega. He wanted a Speedmaster. See, I would have gone Railmaster for an everyday pick.
good point.
And then the Chrono category that he wanted to get, I would have gone El Primero. And then diver, I don't know. I would have probably picked some Breitling diver. I wouldn't have gone either. I wouldn't have gone with the Longines as his. That was his beater, right? It was his beater pick. And I probably would have gone. They had Citizens there. I would have probably gone Citizen for a beater pick and just make sure like I spent the appropriate amounts to get to that close to that 25,000 with the other picks.
Yeah.
And just really like went Citizen. Get something with the Eco Drive, something that's going to be tough.
He did do that. He kind of cheated at the end, and
yeah, he got an extra watch, right?
Yeah.
So he got an extra watch, but like within the 5, he went Longines instead of like as his beater.
Right.
So interesting selection. Guys, I don't know if you guys in the chat got to see that. If you want to let us know what your picks would have been, please please enter that. But I like that selection, Sanjay. I like that video. I subscribe to Teddy. I don't necessarily watch all his videos anymore so much.
Yeah.
But and it's not because of any particular reason. It's just there's just so much more content, and I kind of like pick and choose what I want to see now because there's so many. But I
Right.
do like that exercise, right? Whatever X amount of money um, you have to spend, and here are the picks, that you have to
And
make.
to be fair to Teddy, he did only have 30 minutes while we have all this
That's
time
true.
to, think about it and ponder and dissect it. Probably given the time, he probably would have gone a different route and been a bit more polished, maybe. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, kind of, Kevin, kind of boring picks, safe picks, but I think he was also kind of limited on what brands he could choose, and what was available there at the moment in time. You know what I mean? And he did have 30 minutes, so you're kind of, I think, when the pressure's on, you're kind of gonna go with some picks that you've already thought up in your head that you would go with. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
safe picks, like the Reverso is a safe pick for JLC.
yeah.
Speedmaster is a safe pick for a Chrono Omega. You know, yeah, I hear you. Rotary saw it, but disappointed as the pricing was not real world on most of those brands. Yeah, so
Was it cheaper or more?
well, I think some of those watches. I think with the Breitling, you could probably have negotiated a price in real world, right?
Oh yeah.
You're not going to pay full list. Um, Perhaps the Reverso, you might have been able to get a little discount. I'm not sure about the Speedmasters anymore. I think they're holding their price. I mean, I could be wrong. But I know definitely with the Primero, the one Zenith that he was looking at that you can negotiate with. You know what I mean? And the Logines, obviously, you can negotiate
Yeah,
with.
absolutely.
Mhm.
But you know, I'm no expert.
Well, we kind of have to remember that Teddy is a dealer as well now.
Yeah, it's true.
So
Yeah.
That's a good
he,
point.
he will probably wouldn't want to promote the idea of a discount.
Yeah,
So that was one thing I really enjoyed. Not so obvious watches. Pete he mentioned something about conflict of interest and straddling this line in one of his videos last year, toward the end of last year, uh,
yeah,
and how Hodinkee and Teddy seem to be now walking on this tightrope. And yeah, so I don't think we'd ever get a real world price from Teddy anymore, but
Mhm.
I might be wrong.
yeah,
That's a good point.
yeah. So I mean, I think there's, and I think what Mountain Standard Time is kind of alluding to, um, you know, uh, Teddy helps. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a good type of, or at least maybe Teddy a year or two ago would have been a good channel to kind of break yourself into the hobby with, right? Because he does do a whole lot of videos, and I think he explains things very, very, very well. Um, Pete agrees with you, Sanjay. Totally agree. What a dealer is going to say, of course, never pay list.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, definitely for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
Teddy has been like you were mentioning. Teddy has been still putting out those top 10 lists. Building a watch collection for under such and such an amount, and as we kind of grow in the hobby, we kind of move past that. Even though I still subscribe to Teddy, I find myself not really watching a lot of those videos either. But when
yeah,
this one popped up, I kind of jumped on it because it seemed like a really exciting kind of thing to do. Kind of have that hypothetical cash to ready to go.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was a fun video.
Yeah.
yeah. Design is saying Timex Indiglo plus Casio 5600 plus Sky Dweller Blue Dial 25K. Sure, yeah, sure.
Mhm.
But there was no Rolex dealer in there, so that's why Rolex was not in the picture. Um, Rick is saying the lines between commerce, media, and entertainment are blurring, with many Fed, Watchbox, Watchfinder, Hodinkee, Roman, etc. Yeah, Yeah, so that's why I mean you kind of have to like seek out,
Did you guys get
who.
the?
I'm
Sorry.
sorry. No, no, please.
Did you guys get the email about Crown and Caliber being part of Hodinkee?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
kind of interesting. I mean, it's off topic, kind of, but I got that email. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think it's I mean we talked about it a little bit on Friday.
Okay.
Um, I think so. Hodinkee, was getting into or got into the vintage game. They became authorized dealers for certain brands, but a lot of the bread and butter is also the pre-owned market, and it was just another way to compete um, uh, with the likes of a watch box, and it
Who's the
just seems
biggest?
like,
Who's the
huh?
biggest in that realm of those type of companies? Who's the biggest? Is it Hodinkee now? As far as like, I don't know, watch media, watch sellers.
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, I think it's Hodinkee, but I just don't know how to evaluate
Yeah.
these companies. You
Yeah,
know
you
what I
could go
mean?
by subscribers. You could go by views.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many ways to do it, and so many factors in evaluating what these companies are worth and evaluating how big they are.
Yeah.
Um, they're both big. I think maybe my gut says that Hodinki's now with this purchase, and if they
Hmm.
could, you know, um, make it work with Crown and Caliber, because I think Crown and Caliber was probably a little too buyer friendly,
Mm.
which was good for us, but maybe those days are over. If they could make it make it work, I think Hodinki's the biggest fish in the pond. You know,
Yeah.
but it's something to, yeah. I mean, I'm glad you brought it up, Josh, because um, yeah, um, there's a lot of things changing here. I'm gonna have to switch my screen here, guys, because my camera just died.
So,
Okay, my other camera. Um, Mr. Russell, Wetchbuck is the largest. They are media. Um, Wait, man, Wang. Yeah, he was on the stream the other night. I'm back. I think he valued 150 million according to Priveco.
Hmm.
Um, Hodinkee versus Watchfinder on media, or Hodinkee versus Watchfinder on sales, or LVHM versus Richemont are as backers. Um, Rick is saying Watchbox and Crown and Caliber and others don't make money. It's all about creating scale, then going public or selling. Well, that's what Crown and Caliber did, right? Yeah. To your point, they
Mhm.
created scale and they sold.
Yeah.
Um, hey, Desmond, how you doing? All right. So, Sandy, thanks for bringing the Teddy video up. It's always a good conversation. Like I said, it's always fun to play that game and watch other people play that game, right? I enjoy that. So let me pull up the video that I selected. Just bear with me. Still trying to figure out how the right way to do things, guys.
No problem. I okay, there you go.
Okay, so all right. Paul Thorpe this week had on Adrian from Bark and Jack discussing the AD controversy in Chicago, where a couple of former employees are suing the AD I guess they were terminated, but it was more of a whistleblowing case about the AD practices with selling Rolexes. Um, and so this video to me was interesting in many levels. The discussion about how ADs have these preferred lists,
Mm.
who they choose to sell these watches to that are very much in high demand. And then you have Adrian himself coming on here and discussing. And I don't know if you guys got this, but I felt like Adrian was kind of like tiptoeing a little bit. I know he's a huge Rolex fanboy, and maybe he's trying to develop some relationships with Rolex. But I felt like if you're going to have a serious discussion about this, that maybe he wasn't the right guy to pick. That's my opinion.
Mm.
But it only, in general, this only just confirms, like, what we know is that these ADs, they have these lists. They sell. They may tell you that these watches are not available when you go in there. But are they there in the back? Do they have people that they sell it to? Do they sell it to the same people over and over again? Are these people now that they're selling it to taking it and selling it and flipping them and then coming back and buying more? And are they cutting into the authorized dealer? Um, it's an issue that the Rolex is going to have to at some point address. I don't know if this lawsuit's going to go anywhere. Usually these kind of things, I feel like they get settled out and nothing really comes into light. Um, but as somebody who at one point was interested in buying a Rolex and not being able to go into a authorized dealer and buying the watch that I wanted to buy, this is very frustrating for me to hear.
Hmm.
What did you guys think?
I was not familiar with any of this until you shared the video, so I don't follow this world too much,
Hmm.
honestly. So I can't say too much about it. But what were the? I didn't hear the allegations. What were the allegations from the people who got fired? What was going on?
So yeah, no, the suit isn't about Roy. It's about
Then
so
AD, right?
right.
In Chicago.
There was this woman. I believe the story is, and I read a lot of things, and if I don't get the correct details, somebody please, you know, uh, correct me. But there was this woman who worked for this authorized dealer. I believe she sold a Rolex and got reprimanded because she didn't consult with the manager of the authorized dealer,
Hmm.
and and this authorized dealer, you know, so this manager would sell or said that there's like a preferred list, and he was selling it to these people on this preferred list, and so she basically I don't know if she lost her job or whatnot, but the suit is basically a grievance that she lost her job or whatever it was, and now I'm the details are kind of like a little bit hazy to me at the moment. I think I've got a little foggy brain, um, but it basically the whole thing comes down to is Rolex with these lists and selling to these people on these lists.
And so she got let go or fired because she sold a watch that was kind of set aside for somebody on the preferred list. She
Well,
sold it to somebody not on that list.
I
Is
think
that the issue?
allegedly it was because she did not want to participate, or according to her, she didn't want to participate in selling directly into the gray market. So some of the allegations were that the AD and including the CEO of the company of the business was selling the products knowingly into the gray market. There were allegations of money laundering and tax evasion and some serious things like that. So and because she was suing because she was wrongfully terminated for whistleblowing and for not wanting to participate in this business. Um,
Mhm.
so that was what I gathered at least from the videos that I saw.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Adrian, okay, so underachieving watch collector Adrian flipped his Batman. Doubt he's on any Rolex AD's good graces anymore. Um, Daniel, you're probably right. It won't affect Rolex at all. Um, it'll probably affect this authorized dealer. They probably end up losing Rolex's business. The haves and the have nots. That's how it works in every Rolex and Patek AP and APAD. Yeah, and you're right, Rick. Um, and they will completely ignore the PR issue. It wasn't about lists. It was about selling to a foreign gray market embezzlement tax evasion. Uh, Daniel is correct. I was more amazed that there were some honest jewelers in Chicago.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Right. Yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry, Craig. I mean, I just had a momentary lapse of what was going on there. I was thinking about something else, and I got my streams crossed. So I apologize for that. But thanks for straightening it out. Um, Rolex may send someone to court to witness trial. They're awaiting the situation. Kevin saying some AD sell Rolex to folks who will sell them right back to the AD so they can sell them, use that markup. Good way to use your Rolex account. Yeah.
Hmm. Fishy stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. Like I said, as someone who was interested at one point in purchasing a Rolex, having to deal, not being able to go in and buy the watch that I want. That and that's because Rolex is not catching up with demand, and that's part of it too. But the feeling that I needed to, purchase some other watches from this AD in order to enter good graces and for them to opening up their Rolex inventory at one point in the future, is a big turnoff.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm kind of like, a little bit done with Rolex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're not even guaranteed to be put into, like, you're not even guaranteed to get that watch sometime in the future, because Paul Thorpe has put out some videos, or he's claiming he has text messages and stuff of people who've been in the waiting list for 2 years with 2,000-3,000 pounds um, uh, deposited for a specific steel sports model, and not being able to, or them being called and told that they're going to get refunded because they don't have enough purchase history with them. So after waiting for 2 years, and them keeping their money for 2 years, which they should probably pay back with interest, uh, it's really there's a lot of games that need to be played if you want to get something at list price, which is a huge turn on.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sanjay. Daniel is in Grovel. Yeah. Um,
That's what it feels like.
yeah.
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 You're groveling for a watch.
Cult of Rolex, no thanks ever. But the beauty of it, right, is that there's so many other great watches out there. There's so much more selection out there, and as for me personally, as my taste change and evolve, I can find a suitable brand or watch that will fit that as well. Um,
And you just did.
Yeah, and I just did. And that unboxing will come out in the next couple of days. I feel, Peter saying, I feel this is feeding into the weariness of Rolex. So tired of Rolex behavior. So tired of others whining about Rolex. Everyone just kind of tired. Yeah, I'm tired of it too, and I'm guilty of complaining. I will not. I don't doubt that. And it's put up or shut up at point at this time. Especially, I mean, I'm just talking about me. But yeah, I just felt like it was a video that was out there that was kind of like worth discussing, even though I just totally absent-mindedly screwed up the facts with a couple of stories that was going on in my head, and I apologize again for that. Thank you, Sanjay, for summing it up correctly. They're not all gems that come out of my mouth. So
You're fine. You're fine, Rob. Don't don't think about it.
the AD owns 3 stores in Chicago. The issue was that 2 or 3 people at only one location, but the AD, I doubt anything happens, but the owner needs to be more hands-on. Yeah. Alex, exactly, Bobby, currently rebuilding my Grand Seiko collection. Awesome. The shortage is only for those not on the list. My friend got a new 41 Submariner in less than 24. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Wow.
Me just move in on. It is late on Sunday. We may have to rethink the scheduling of this program. Most of the world is, most of the world. This is disgruntled employee against shady employer. So Yan, yeah. I mean, maybe maybe that's true, and we'll find out. We'll find out when this if this goes any further. Like I said, I doubt this goes into actual courtroom where it's argued between lawyers. It'll probably be settled somewhere.
Mm.
I wish gems come out of me anywhere at all times. Yeah, yeah. Kevin saying, I love Rolex watches I own. I don't get put off by the scarcity. Just being patient, and you'll get the retail unless you want a Daytona or a Blue Sky Dweller. So guys, any Josh, Sanjay, any other like channels that you guys are interested in that maybe we could share with the channel, the rest of the chat here, because I never knew about the Timepiece Gentleman, and I'm so happy you pointed that out to me, Josh. Is there anything else that you watch regularly?
Probably all the same thing as you guys do. I'm trying to think and look through here on my phone. I don't know. Probably the same old stuff. I don't think I have anything new except for the Timepiece Gentleman. So
Yeah, gotcha. Sanjay, sorry to put you on the spot.
Brave Beaters, someone mentioned in the comments. Yeah, that's a good channel. Yeah, very high quality production.
Never heard of them. Heard of them.
There's an up and coming YouTuber, Brandon Menancio. I've only watched a couple of videos of his. He seems interesting. Shaluso he's a friend of mine. His videos are really good. He just put out a video on how to properly negotiate at an AD, and some of his tips were really nice.
I saw that video. I liked that.
Yeah. It was really informative. What else? Just Bluefish. He just made a comeback.
He's back.
So, yeah, it was good to see him again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's interesting. He took some sort of some break, right? I mean, there may have been something else going on there. But now he's back after a period of time, maybe 3 or 4 months.
Way longer than that. It was almost
really?
it felt like almost a year, but maybe 9 months.
Yeah.
He was. I used to watch quite a bit of his videos, and he was complaining about the lockdowns and health and health. He has some health conditions he was mentioning. Yeah. So I think he just got really burnt out. The community was kind of on him about him selling his Speedmaster.
Yeah, so I remember that.
I think after that he probably got a bit burnt out. Needed a big break.
Bobby's mentioning Hot Ones. Now, I think I know what channel you're talking about. I think I just subscribed to this guy. His filming, cinematography, editing is just bananas. He's really good. I think he also has a Black Bay, and he did a couple of videos on that.
Yeah, I've seen his channel. Yep.
Yeah. Random Rob is a guy. He's dope. Yeah. There's Random Rob, of course.
We should plug Not So Obvious Watches. I really enjoy his videos.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Pete's channel is great.
Yeah.
Does a lot of topics and some reviews, and he has an interesting way or thought process on collecting and watch industry in general. So whenever I want to feel like I want to get stimulated intellectually, he's like one of the guys that I go to.
He's a modern philosopher.
And of course,
Yes.
The Bobby Legs guy. Yeah, he's got to cut down on his ums, and he's got to moisturize his hands better. There we go. Fraglo's YouTube game is heating up. Okay.
What about the Watch Guys? Have you guys watched any of the Watch Guys?
No.
He, a British gentleman. He does a YouTube channel called The Car Guys. And he started a YouTube
Yeah.
channel to watch, guys.
He's got a crazy collection. He's got
Yeah.
a sick collection, doesn't he?
In-
Yeah.
Mm.
He's
It-
got like an amazing Tudor collection.
yeah.
And then he's got Rolex as well.
Yeah, Attack. I think he recently started collecting Hajime Asaoka stuff, Chrono and Chrono Tokyo. So,
Mad watch collector, of course. Russell's the man.
yeah.
Yep.
Beans and Bezels, Jeff McMahon. Well, guys, we're coming to an hour. We hope we did okay in this experiment tonight.
Fun.
I really enjoy talking. I always enjoy talking watches with my friends,
Yeah.
and involving the chat. Please, guys, leave a comment below. Let us know what kind of channels you want us to talk about. If there's something out there, if there's a video during the week, please you can reach out to us and let us know. Josh, thank you so much for joining tonight. Is there anything you want to plug? Reviews coming up, streams?
Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks for having me, Bobby. It's been fun. And I mean, I told Bobby before I might not be able to make it every week, but maybe you guys can let us know who you might like to see next week, or on this Talk Soup. But thanks for having me. I got some videos coming out on Friday. I got a full review of the Ball Hydrocarbon 40 millimeter version. It's their 15th anniversary of that line of watches. Really tough dive watch, and I was happy to have some time with it. So that comes out on Friday.
Thank you, Josh. And any Instagram you want to plug, or do you have any?
It's the Town Watch.
The Town,
I'm not too active on there, but you can find me there.
Great. Sanjay, anything coming up this week for you?
I hope to do State of the Collection, the one that we talked about in December.
Yeah.
I hope to get one out this week.
Nice.
So I'll do a State of the Collection. But other than that, usual stream. I guess Saturday evenings we've started to do a stream. A couple of guys. Anyone's welcome, by the way, to join us. Just let me know like half an hour in advance, and we'll be good to go. Yeah, anyone in the chat too, if you guys want to just talk face to face. But other than that, Instagram is engineer_wannabe. YouTube is engineer wannabe. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. And I'm Bobby Legs, and you can catch me on my Bobby Legs YouTube channel, as well as Bobby Legs _loves watches, _loves _watches. Yeah, tongue twister there. Great choice, Bobby Legs, on a Instagram thing. And thank you for joining us tonight. Really, really appreciate you guys. And we'll see you guys soon. Have a great night.
Bye, everybody.
bye.
Bye.